Hello there, this is Tim Gowans, and thank you for joining us here at Summer Street Productions, where we are performing our podcast called Voice of the Local Business. And today we have the privilege of having Mr. Dave Griffith with us. Good morning, Dave.
Good morning.
Dave is the owner of Relocal Companies, and so we're excited to have him as our guest today. So thank you for joining us, Dave. Tell us about tell us about who you are. Tell us about where you're from. Tell us about your wife, your kids. Before we get into the company, let the audience know who you are.
So,
where are you from?
Local entrepreneur.
Yeah.
I'm kind of from nowhere.
You're from nowhere.
Yeah, my dad was military.
Okay.
And so we traveled everywhere.
Yeah.
Growing up.
Yeah.
The Orient, the Philippines, Okinawa, Japan. And then
Wow.
several stateside locations. But in 1974, his last duty station was in Kansas City, Missouri. A bunch of our family members bought farms in Salem, Missouri. My parents did as well, and I started saving money from work to buy cows, and so I bought 8 cows, and used those to put myself through college. And I would
how in the world did you how did cows put you through college? You gotta tell the listeners about that.
I had 8 by the time we got there in 1978, which was my right before my junior year, and I would sell off my calves every year.
Okay.
To when I got to college to fund it bought my first car, little Mustang too.
I had a Mustang too.
Did you really?
Sure
yeah,
did.
yours was souped up, I bet. Though mine had a little 4-cylinder engine.
Mine was a 4-cylinder.
Yeah, 3-speed. It looked cool.
It looked cool, though.
But it wouldn't go anywhere.
Mine had the little 3 ponies on the side of the door.
Oh yeah, mine did too.
Did it?
Yeah. So
what school did you go to?
Went to Central Missouri State University, which is now University of Central Missouri. I don't know why they changed it, but so Central Missouri State, we were the Mules, the Fighting Mules.
The Fighting Mules.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're the Missouri Mule,
Okay.
strong as a Missouri Mule.
Okay.
And interesting, the Missouri Tigers, back around 1900, tried like crazy to get the mascot from CMSU.
Oh. Okay.
And CMSU wouldn't give it up, and the Missouri Tigers are thankful to this day that they're not known as the Fighting Mules.
The Fighting Mules.
But so went there, got a communications degree. And was working for Whitewater during the summer.
Okay.
And
here in Atlanta,
Whitewater Parks in Branson, Missouri.
Okay.
So I'd go down to Branson, Missouri, and
Gotcha.
work at the park, and then they built in 1984 Whitewater, the Hershend Company. Built Whitewater here in Atlanta, and so I was the first safety manager at Whitewater in 1984. Came here in end of February. It was a snowstorm, and I was testing water slides in 35, 40 degree weather in a snowstorm. And
wow,
yeah, it was fun. I got to wear a swimsuit to work every day, and thought I was going to be in the water park business the rest of my life because I loved it, but met my wife, my late wife,
right?
Through Whitewater, through a mutual friend, and we got married in 1986. Had 3 wonderful children.
Right.
And
what are their names?
So we got Hannah, Zach, and Abby.
Okay.
Hannah and her husband Andrew have given me 4 grandchildren.
Okay.
Zach and his wife Jess have now just given me their first. They've got some catching up to do.
Okay.
And then Abby is unmarried.
Okay.
And Zach and Abby still work with our companies, with the Relocal Companies.
Okay.
Hannah went and got a nursing degree, married a Georgia Tech guy, who's a Georgia Tech and Florida guy. He loves Florida. So I've been having a real good time with him over the last 8 or 10 years as we have ruled those 2 schools. But he's an Air Force pilot, and literally after we get done with this podcast today, I'm going to be heading down to Macon because they just arrived in Macon yesterday, hopefully for his last 5 years in the military before he retires. But we sold him a house down there, and they moved and got there yesterday. So I'm going down to help them unload the truck today.
Okay, great.
So
you said your former wife passed away, and you've now remarried. And what's your new wife's name?
So Jackie Gallo.
Jackie.
And she is she's just angelic.
She's angelic.
Let's just put it that way. I mean, she really is. Great. I mean, so many people talk about their wives, and Ronnie Dangerfield used to talk about his wife, and and I mean, I can't make a single joke about her. I mean, because she's just so.
She is a lovely lady.
Yeah,
she really is.
She is so fantastic. Always joyful. We've known each other for 16 years. We're coming up on our 8th wedding anniversary.
Okay.
After the passing of Debbie, and she worked with me for 8 years. We're now been married almost 8 years. May 28th. I think we had an argument about a year ago.
Okay.
But I'm not sure.
You're not sure.
I'm not sure, and if we did, I'm sure she won.
Okay.
But it's just we have that
That's
kind of
great.
harmony, and it's
That's
just
really
wonderful
great.
to
That's great.
to work, and we work together.
Right.
She's the CFO and control of our companies, and does a wonderful job with that, and does it with a smile. And anybody who can handle money with a smile, is blessed.
Right.
That's
right.
We're just a local entrepreneurial company. We have a real estate company called Relocal Home.
Okay. And what is it that you guys do?
Just residential real estate, commercial real estate, land.
Mm-hmm.
What you would think of from a real estate company. But one thing that we do a little differently is we'd like to say, does your realtor do that?
I like that.
And it's a
That's
question.
good.
You want to
right.
ask, does your realtor act as your general contractor if you need work done? Does your realtor show up and mow your grass if you're out of town and and someone's going to show it?
Yeah.
Or blow your leaves or
Right.
clean your pool?
Right.
Or do they do the extra things? Or do they say, that's not my job?
Right.
You can hire somebody to do that.
Right.
Well, our philosophy is we work for you. You don't work for us.
Right.
When you engage us to either buy or sell a home, and we will do whatever it takes to get the job done.
Right. Let me ask you a personal question in regards to the reason why you do that. I think I know. You and I are pretty good friends. I think I know. But tell our listeners, why would you go clean someone's pool? Why would you go and go the extra mile to take care of your customer, which is just fantastic.
Well, it's
Why?
It's servant leadership.
Yeah.
It's what Jesus would have done.
Exactly.
And so, our philosophy really stems from a deep passion in our love for Christ.
Right.
That's what
Right.
That's what it comes from. There's got to be a well
That's
inside people that it bubbles up from, and that's what it bubbles up from.
Yeah, that's right.
So it's about serving people.
Yeah, so many people that are in business for really just for the profit that they're trying to gain, right?
Sure. Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that. As we
Gotta
know,
make money.
money
Yeah.
makes. We have to have money. It's the way of
Yeah.
this world, right?
Sure.
But it sure is a pleasure to do business with someone who has the work ethic that comes from a source greater than just making money. Can you talk about that for a few minutes?
Yeah. Well, our company's philosophy comes from the scriptures. Love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength, and love your neighbor as yourself. And who is your neighbor? Basically, it's the person you're interacting with at that moment.
Right.
You and I are now neighbors,
Right.
biblically.
Right.
Considered. And so, our philosophy is that people are more important than profit. If we hold
Wow.
that out to be,
That's incredible.
the most important thing, then God takes care of the profit.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's
he
so
will,
true,
He will
isn't
give
it?
us the increase.
That's right.
If we just serve, who is it? Dale? No, it wasn't Dale Carnegie who said, if you give, if you help enough people get what they want, you can have whatever you want.
Right. Yeah.
Well, we're not giving to get.
Necessarily right, but there are biblical principles that are in place.
There are biblical principles, and so we are serving just because it's the right thing to do.
Folks, one of the things that I love about Dave is the ethics that drive him. So many people are in business, and they are in business to make money, like we've talked about. But this country is built on people like Dave that have not necessarily the biggest real estate company in the United States, but I guarantee you, if you do business with Dave and his team, you'll be thoroughly pleased because of the principles that are in place.
Well, we hope so.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the goal going in.
Yeah, that's the goal. That's the goal. I think that's what makes this country so great, in my opinion, is people, small businesses that have biblical principles in place that guide them, that they aren't necessarily going to say that to you. As a customer, you're not necessarily going to go out and tell everybody that this is the reason why, we want to, is because we have biblical principles in place, and you're not going to say that. But you're going to make but there are times I'm sure you may.
Actually,
actually,
the Great Commission,
yes,
is, I think, achieved.
Yes.
Through the marketplace.
It is. You're right.
It is achieved
but
through the
it's the doing of it first that makes them question you as to why.
No, you're right.
Why would you come over and clean my pool?
Yeah.
Why would you come over and cut my grass, Dave? I mean, why would you do that? No other real estate agent's going to do that for me. Why would you do that?
And it's and it comes down to, again, that core philosophy.
Right.
Is this a refreshing stream?
Yes.
That we are that we are giving to people?
Right.
Or is it just business as usual?
Right.
And there are a lot of people who, and a lot of sales trainers in real estate. I've been in many of their courses where they basically come into a listing appointment or to a buyer's agency appointment, and say, "I'm the expert here. You're not. Sit down. Shut up. I'll tell you what you need to do to get your house sold."
That's right.
It grates at me. I heard that and walked out.
Right.
Of this particular, and I won't say his name. But it grates at me because that doesn't exemplify the character of Christ.
Right, that's right.
And I think that's what we're called to do. Is to
so while we take a quick break, we're going to be back in just a moment. Our sponsor today is Metro Wheels and Accessories, located in Marietta, Georgia. So we'll be right back. What do you want to say to your customers? What is it that's important for your customers to know about Relocal companies? What is it that you'd want to say to them?
Well, all of our companies are real estate related in some way, for the most part. I'm a serial entrepreneur. It keeps me engaged, by starting new businesses, but most of them have always been, surrounding real estate. Here in Kennesaw, years ago, 2016, actually, we started that venture. We created Desktop, co-working community.
Yes.
Has a coffee shop inside. It's right on the corner of the old CVS pharmacy.
It's beautiful
on the
place.
Corner of Giles and Main Street. And we took an old CVS, 10,000 square feet. We didn't need 10,000 square feet. But it was as a place that we could be engaged in the community. We still have our offices there, even though we sold it 3 years ago to John Spellman, my coffee shop partner. He took over the co-working space as well. But it was a real estate play. We took a piece of real estate, we subdivided it into 22 offices, and then memberships to where people could get out of their house, and work. So basically, we're leasing office space,
right,
which is a real estate play.
Right.
We have a national relocation company, called Relocal Move, and we partner with about 150 different university alumni associations in the United States, and we are their real estate partner, their real estate benefits partner. We do business with the Nurse Services Organization, about 375,000 nurses in the United States. The Healthcare Professionals Service Organization, about 400,000 healthcare professionals. We do business with the Accounting Association of New York. That's about as close as I want to get to New York. The Chemical Engineers Association of America. We now do Credit Union of Georgia. We are the benefits partner for the Credit Union of Georgia, and the most recognized name in business, or used to be, I think it might still be, and I can't say the name yet, but if you had three guesses, you would get it. The most recognized company in America. We're about to, I think, be their real estate benefit associate or provider as well.
Right. So it's amazing to me how if you just honor God in the small things and taking care of folks for the right reason. It's amazing to me how God can grow your business, right? You said in the earlier portion of our podcast how if you just take care of other people and do the right thing, God will take care of you.
Well, and interesting, because it sounds like when I say those companies that well, man, Dave's got it made. Not true at all. I mean, we've been through a global pandemic since 2022. We're now in the middle of 2024. Over the last 2 years, interest rates doubled, more than doubled. Inventory dropped, to historically low levels. And so, as many people as we have wanting to buy real estate, they may not be able to afford to because 7% interest rates preclude that. Or they might be getting outbid by people moving from California or New York who have cash and are moving, to Georgia, thinking that, this $750,000 house is a deal and they can pay cash for it because they sold their 1,500 square foot ranch in LA for $2 million bucks.
Right.
And so the thing that I guess I would want to say with that is God provides. In the last 2 years, it's been amazing. Our revenue has been cut in half, but God has always provided, and that's one thing that we do on a daily basis. We pray for God's provision. Give us this day our daily bread, and He has always been faithful. So the years before that, in 2022, early 21, even the last part of 20, and then even going before, our real estate business was booming. Our relocation company was booming. I mean, it was doubling every year.
Wow.
And it's funny. It's funny how when things are going really, really well, you think you had something to do with it. I remember starting a company in Legacy Park in 2005, and we opened up an office inside Legacy Park. We became the residential resale broker for Legacy Park after it had built out. We were kind of like the on-site, sales company. And I had a 19-year career at that point, and I thought, I'm going to put all this knowledge to work, and we killed it. I mean, in 2006. We just hit the cover off the ball. I mean, $1 million in revenue the first year,
wow.
First full year. And,
wow, that's great.
Yeah, I was spending $25,000 a month on payroll for a marketing director and a closing coordinator and a listing coordinator. And I mean, we were blowing doors. And so I was making plans for growth in 2007. We're going to go $2 million. And remember what happened in 2007?
Yeah, I kind of do.
Yeah. So
what happened?
So 2007, 2008, we had this global meltdown.
Right.
The derivatives markets crashed. Real estate, crashed like crazy. We saw the stock market go from, it's funny to say this now, 16,000 when we're almost 40 at this point, but 16,000 to 8,000 in a day.
Wow.
And foreclosures out the...
Yeah.
So, I went from doing $1 million a year to saying, okay, Lord, I thought I was, the point is, I thought I was smart. I was going to put 19 years of real estate knowledge to work, and I did. I mean, it's not bad to have knowledge and wisdom
Sure.
and to use it and all those kind of things for business.
Of course.
But I had forgotten who provided for me.
Right.
I thought it was my wisdom and
Right.
my work. And it was a great reminder that it's God who provides
That's right.
in all things.
That's right.
And so whether, like Paul said, I've learned to be content whether I have abundance or whether I am in deprivation. And so God is always teaching me. I know He's always teaching you. And I just want to be, I want to be receptive to the lesson.
Right.
Yeah,
It's almost like for many folks who are Christian business owners, it's almost not about the business, is it? It's really not about the business. That it's about learning what? To trust God more, that He's your provider, that He's your source, that He is the one that brings forth all good things for us to richly enjoy. I've got a quick story. 35 years ago, for those of you who don't know, I own a company, and 35 years ago, I made a delivery in my blue Honda to a customer, and I met that customer. I haven't seen him in 35 years. 35 years ago, I made an impression on this guy, and for 35 years, because of the impression that was made, out of my faithfulness to him 35 years ago, He has faithfully used us for 35 years, and I have no idea who. I did not know that. So my point is that God faithfully provides. That route that was established 35 years ago has just been flowing all this time. All this time, God has faithfully provided. So I concur with you, Dave, is that if we'll just put Him first in our business principles and how we treat our customers and how we treat each other in the company itself, you'll be amazed at what God can do and what God can do through us.
Yeah.
To not only bless you and your family and provide for you and your family, but many people. Just think of all the people that have had an encounter with you, and hopefully the impact that you've been able to have on them. So that's why I love talking to business owners, is because the majority of them, men and women that have done it right, have such a deeper story to tell. They have such a deeper story to tell.
What I hope on a daily basis, and my prayer every single morning, it gets boring. Because my Bible study routine and all that kind of stuff, but I spend time in the Word every day, not to learn something, but to learn, to get to know Jesus better.
Right.
It's about the relationship.
Right.
And so my prayer every morning is, who will it be today, Lord? Who do you want me to reflect you to today? So what I'm hoping is that people don't have an interaction with Dave. I hope that they have an interaction, with the Lord of the universe, with Jesus Christ. I hope
because of you.
I hope that I just am a mirror,
right,
reflecting His glory.
Right.
And that sounds really spiritual, But if the older I get, I just turned 62. The older I get, the simpler this Christian thing becomes. I had somebody ask me one time, "Are you religious?" And I said, "God, I hope not." I hope I'm just a guy.
I hope not. Yeah.
I'm just a guy trying to get to know Jesus better and reflect Him, to the people around me, so that when they leave, they go, "Oh, that Dave's a great guy." I hope they're like, there's something different about him.
Yeah.
And that something different is that I'm just trying to get out of Jesus's way, as He impacts the person in front of me at that moment.
Right. That's incredible, Dave. Thank you so much for sharing with us today. So I'd like for you to tell the listeners how to get in touch with you, tell them about your website, tell them your phone number if you'd like, that sort of thing. Why don't you tell them what you got?
So for local real estate, Relocal Home Real Estate Services, we're located inside Desktop up here in Kennesaw, downtown Kennesaw. But I always give out my personal phone number. So
okay, great.
770-316-5444. You can go to relocalhome.com for residential real estate, commercial real estate, land. If you're an HR person, if you're an association, person, like Kennesaw State University Alumni Association, something like that. That's an example. Then you can go to relocalmove.com and get all the information from us there. Relocalmove.com. Stands for real estate local, and then move. And then
wonderful. Well, thank you so much for being with us
Thanks
today.
For your time.
We really appreciate this.
I appreciate you, brother.
Thank you for joining us. We look forward to seeing what God's going to do with you, and more importantly, what God's going to do with your companies and showing His faithfulness to you.
We look forward to seeing it too.
Yeah, that's great. God is faithful, isn't He? He's good, faithful to show you. Yeah. So thank you for joining today, the voice of the local business, and we hope you'll share this video with those that you think it would be a blessing to. Thank you.